Welcome to Winternomics.tv. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Welcome to Winternomics.tv. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Welcome to Winternomics.tv. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, winter, Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches.
Mic check 1 2. All right, we got the Web3 room up a little faster this time. We approved as many audios as we can before we go live. We have to approve each and every one of you. So for until they come with like a master setting where everyone can just kind of talk and control, it's a little difficult. But we have to actively turn each of you on, and I can't go back in there or I'll nuke your audio. So for right now, I've got it set up as best I can. We're gonna wait for OnCyber to make some upgrades they told us they'd be making, which would hopefully make life a little easier. Shout out to everybody starting the morning with some bits. Appreciate you. 120 people to start out. What the fuck? That's definitely higher than usual. Appreciate you. Peace outside, Mal, Perky G, Zach, Hodge with the C note. Appreciate you, sir, and Gano. So hopefully you guys have been staying on the right side of the train, as we kind of look like we're still moving a little bit higher right now. Like I told you, the sentiment out there just lends towards this thing having like, a tailwind under it, and the pullback's not really being big enough for people to do shit with. Everyone's looking for like, the crash. And I guess that the prevailing popular chart I'm seeing now is people trying to say that the market looks like a fractal of the 1937 bear market, the 2000 bear market, and 2008. So again, fractal analysis all of a sudden is the world over, a widely accepted study. So a lot of people are trying to compare like these markets, and one of the things you lose out in, wave structures are fractal in nature. Lots of things can be lined up to look like each other. But without having the proper context of history, you're not going to have the right sentiments to know that wave structure really indeed is it. That's one of the things that people lose in fractal analysis. They think every pattern, this looks like another pattern, equals like, yeah, I found it. And there is context to it. So, right now the whole world's trying to predict the end of the world after pretty much the end of the world happened. So now is a good time, like I said, for us to pay attention, look for opportunities. Sequence says, yeah, I've been seeing that a few times on Twitter, comparing bear market bounces, right? Everybody's a fractal analyst right now, and that's always dangerous when everybody's got the same ideas. So hopefully it's popping in Web3 right now. Let's see what's going on over there. So for any of you guys that are on the show, you can always jump in and hit the link on Twitter that you saw posted. You guys can go hang out with some of the traders from our Discord in here and watch the show on Web3. And for any of you that want to hop in the Discord, feel free to hit the link in my bio. So yeah, this is a work in progress right now. And unfortunately, like the control scheme for the sound of the video is independently controlled by every single person in the room. So each of you are playing your own version of the video at its own interval, if you reset it, that is. I guess Berger said this is more like a server I'm granting permissions onto, and it has to work something more collectively. I don't have the software terms for it, but it needs to just work where we all are in physically a room with it's an audio source. Then it will allow for more like a realistic feel of us all being in the same place. But you can all talk to each other in there. We just have to approve your voices now. They did something with the voices where everyone has to be approved independently. So it's definitely very different than it used to be. But they said they're working on some things for this to make this a little bit more user-friendly. So if anything, though, we're at the ground floors of it, and I think this is going to get lots and lots better. So shout out graphic design, Abracadabra, appreciate you. If you have time, Clonex, I see somebody asked for Bored Ape and Clonex TA, so we could check that out. Isaac says, Kaz, I'm 22 and saving up for a house. When would be the best time for me to really pull the trigger? I don't know if you want to try and time the exact bottom of an asset cycle, but as a hedge on inflation, any assets you can get out of, that has a return is kind of like what you're trying to do. When you think about home ownership, I'll be honest with you, owning a house and living in it is not necessarily like the greatest investment decision that you can make. A lot of people, think that home ownership equals fucking I'm going to have all this equity saved up. But when you really look at it, in most periods across 40 years, if you buy real estate and you pay interest and you pay the maintenance and you pay the taxes and the carrying costs and living in it, you end up really just carrying forward a major liability and break even with inflation. Very often you don't make too much on it. If you can buy rental properties and cash flow rental properties and live out of the cash flow of an asset that is working for you, though, that can be a much better idea. I think everyone thinks you're supposed to buy the first house you get into. You really want to buy assets that help pay for your life and live out of the return of those assets rather than out of your sweat equity, what you work day to day for. I think if you can get to that position, that's a better start at 22. And I think with that, the world is turning into a giant, planet of renters. We talked about this many, many moons ago, that the world is going to become so expensive that everybody would basically lease their lives, And I think, no greater sign of that coming is BMW fucking starting to do subscriptions for fucking heated seats in your fucking car you already paid for. Like, they literally going to rent you your fucking ass if they could do it. And the fact is, the world is in a changing price point where, we have rising costs, not necessarily any growth. But you aren't going back to yesterday's price. People always dream of yesterday's prices coming back, And as long as we have rising prices and everything under the fucking sun, rising rents, you know, you have pricing power as a landlord. And you know, people are just not in a position to ever get to fucking own, and it's getting harder to own. So owning is, you know, owning and renting it back to the people who will never have that chance is really a power position, you know. If everyone's renting, who's the owner? Institutions. That's who's been buying the fucking shit out of fucking real estate since the market crashed, you know? Down in 2009 and 10, like, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, there were fucking tranches of like fucking 500,000 houses going out in single tapes, what they call bulk tapes, being bought by like BlackRock and various institutions. You don't even understand how much that inventory left the fucking building after 2009 and is never going to see the light of day again. Locked up forever for all of you to become glorified renters. But those are the transaction sizes, 100,000 to 500,000 houses going out left and right and center, like fucking in every state. They bought these houses for pennies on the fucking dollar. You know, they're never coming out of the positions that they're in these things. So, all right, that covers a bit. So, how many of you guys have been paying attention to OnlyFans and what happened this weekend with the Senate? This mask is driving me up a fucking wall. Not tight enough. Biden might actually pull something off. Can you believe that guy? About fucking time, right? Let's get this up here. So this is what's going on over the weekend. This guy looks like fucking Satan. Jesus. Stock futures rise following S&P's third winning, blah, blah, blah. But right now, the most important thing is this, right? The Senate on the brink of passing, you know, funding for clean energy under the form of a climate change bill. And another tax package, which probably is not the greatest tax package on the planet. But the climate part of this is what's really a big win for Biden. Now, what we told you was interesting, you know, when Biden came to office, let's do this. Biden came to office, right, we talked about oil, dirty energy. Biden came to office in November 2020. And literally, oil went nuclear, the exact opposite of what people expected. And we talked about that when dirty energy would be in focus, like you couldn't solve the clean energy problem overnight. It'd take a while. Conversely, when Trump came into office, right, over here, this is solar, exactly the same thing happened. Everyone's like, well, Trump would be good for oil. And it literally sent the sentiments in the exact wrong position both times, right? This is Trump entering office for solar, and this is Biden entering office for dirty. The exact opposite thing that you would ever think, which would fucking absolutely devastate everybody in the wrong end of these trades. Now, what you want to look at, right, with what we're having happen now is solar versus dirty energy, right? Because that guy has been in the most epic bull flag of all time, right? And this is really the timing of Biden to actually enact a policy that would even be remotely useful to the clean energy cycle. So we look at Trump again. Put these guys together. Trump took office. He said by November-ish, you know, whatever. Oh, sorry. Trump took office in 2016. My fault. November, blah, blah, blah. Somewhere around here, whatever. It's like November 11th, I think. And then Biden will make that guy, because Trump is, you know, red. We'll make Biden over here. November. There's Biden. Right? So Trump takes office and clean energy goes fucking apeshit. Everyone's like, sweet Jesus, Biden takes office, clean energy is going to go apeshit. Exactly the opposite. Now we have a bull flag of clean energy on dirty energy, and Biden finally has the policy that gives us a rationale that says now we can look at clean energy and a possibility of an outperformance on dirty. So perfect timing now, right? After 2.5 years, no one gives a flying fuck about Biden and clean energy, and here it is, bitch. That's how it works, right? So that's what we have on radar and why I threw that into OnlyFans for you guys. So keep eyes on clean energy fucking finally, right? Motherfucker finally came dragging his ass to the door of what he was supposedly going to do, which is do anything for climate. So let's see if they get it done, right? Last barrier is to get it through the House, but getting through the Senate is actually the hard part. So if they get it, right now they have it in the Senate, they should get it through the House. That being said, holy fuck, is he slow. Might be too little too late for his presidency, but, we got our energy bill. Let's see what the fuck happens. He's actually going to do something except for have a fucking heart attack in office and promote the first woman president. Yeah, let's hope so, right? He finally tested negative for COVID, about fucking time. Thank goodness for his vaccines. See a lot of crypto. Key checkmatic. See some NFT action. So all in all, how have you guys been doing? As the show's been getting you guys the intel you need, have you been able to use what's in here? Were you guys able to break down the last part of Drifter's Shoot on Friday, the first Web3 show, where we kind of packed a lot of eco dribble into the end of that? Nothing for you guys to drive yourselves crazy about, but it's just dealing with, one, where does the authority that provides the expectations for the crowd to react to come from? And then, the dangers of the authority itself, mispricing those expectations for the crowd to then be disappointed or, either side, positively or negatively, by mispriced expectations. This is what we trade in the markets, right? We make money on perception arbitrage, and I'm just giving you the mechanics of where that perception arbitrage is actually coming from for us to benefit. So that's a lot. You guys get all that? Learned a lot about patience, very good. Took me a few hours to catch up with what was packed indeed. Definitely needed a few rewatches. The flight of capital explanation was such a sick breakdown too. Yep, understanding where capital flows from, right? It doesn't come out of fucking everyone's ass. It comes from somewhere. Watch the 3/4 speeds. Y'all are funny. That's cheating, man. You gotta watch at full speed so you can process it at full speed. That's part of the exercise, is learning to process information at speeds you thought you couldn't. You definitely can. We watched it at 0.75 speed. Damn, y'all. Got me sounding all fucking chopped and screwed. We've been building a lot of smaller type student accommodations here in Sydney, basically tiny apartments with shared kitchens to get rented out in convenient locations at affordable prices. Richie Rich says he does the opposite and listens to my shit at 1.5x. That's what's up. That's gangster, son. All right. So we didn't get the earliest start. We're at 8:51. We don't want to go to the bell, so we want to get things wrapped up here in a meaningful amount of time. So let's find Reddit. You guys get any war stories for me? Let's see. Who's this? Server leader. Oh, boo. This is what happens when you have fucking Windows emojis. How terrible are those? I know it's a good trade, but fuck that. These are terrible. Just for the sake of making a decent chart, you should get an iPhone and put the emojis on through there. This is disgraceful. Is that Windows emojis or Google emojis? One of them. Those things are so terrible looking. Anyways, last minute trade before bed. After noticing Skeleton Crew last night on Discord, took a trade before bed. Boom, 3 R's. Participation and habits are key. Thanks for their teachings. That's what up, server. You already know, boy. Pay attention to Skeleton Crew. People don't fucking listen. I'm trying to teach them sentiment trading, but they don't want to hear it. What a nerd. That's Burger. What'd you do, Burger? Little fuck up here in an otherwise great day. Started moving my stops on the short side way too aggressively. Stopped my first short way too early because I was so worried about protecting capital instead of sticking to my original planned risk that I almost prevented myself from making money. Realized what I was doing, made an adjustment, and was still able to hit the short. This is why it's important to have a plan and stick to it. Your initial risk is the cost of doing business. Don't fuck yourself out of making money by desperately trying to cling onto your initial risk. Right? It's like going to Disney World and being like, I've got 2 children and 3 adults, and here's a $15,000 to go to your fucking park, you fucking cocksuckers, since you don't know what fucking inflation rates really are. You're gonna charge everyone's eyes out to go to your fucking Mickey Mouse bullshit, whatever. And then you get into the park, you're like, so can I get my money back? But I do want to go to the park, right? Pay the fucking money for the opportunity, right? Risk is the price you pay for opportunity. Fucking let it go. Let it go, let it go. I can't sing, motherfuckers. You don't want that part of the show anyways. But yeah, it's the price of doing business. Fucking let it go. So where the fuck is it? Lost track of that tab. Burger. So this is good. Good action, right? 4.6x are up fucked himself out of his initial trade, retook a new risk, and then played it out. Good shit, and good memo for everybody to look at, because we're all guilty of this shit. You know, don't protect yourself out of profits, guys. That's the thing. If you think you're protecting capital, but you're protecting yourself out of your win, you know. If you're wrong, you're going to be wrong. Let it be wrong. Forex factory event. So today, what do we have? Oh, lots of stuff. Consumer numbers. Remember we talked about this on one of our previous shows. We're going to go look at this chart I made for you guys. Otherwise, relatively quiet in recent weeks. This is... nothing on Monday and Tuesday. Is that right? The hell? That looks like an error. I don't think there's absolutely no economic data on Monday and Tuesday. That looks weird. But CPI, inflation shit, we care about. PPI, you also care about, right? PPI is producer prices. CPI is consumer prices. We talked about this when I was talking about inflation and, you know, estimating inflation, because, right, the retailers aren't experiencing necessarily the exact same amount of inflation. They're passing along to the consumer. And when you have rising prices and they're not rising uniformly, it gives merchants a chance to basically game inflation and blame it on inflation for rising prices, but outpace it as far as their costs go. A lot of these guys, you know, in large retail, people that have exposure to fuel prices, they hedge. They hedge exposure to the cost of freight. You know, they hedge many other assets. If you're producing and you have large scale fucking cotton consumption, these guys can hedge out, you know, volatile prices. So they're not necessarily experiencing the rising prices you think they should be to make sense of the rising prices you pay, and it gives them a chance to actually make more money. You'd think in a rising price environment, everybody would be getting hurt, but that's not really the case, and you are led to believe that. So that's a really important point to make right now, right? To watch producer prices versus consumer prices and see if the producer prices are rising anywhere near the speed consumer prices are. Generally, they won't be. Let's see. Let's see. And you will see that even here, right? Consumer core CPI, right here is where they throw out food and energy. And then you look at producer prices, they're already expected as a differential between them, right? That there should be a faster rise in the core for us on our end than the producer. But there's all kinds of tricks inside of this that really don't reflect the realities of what the leverage, the larger scale, you know, Fortune 500 companies have the ability to do as far as forward hedging, you know, certain asset prices that could harm them while passing along to us what seemed to be, you know, fair inflation. So these are worth paying attention to. GDP from England is worth paying attention to as in the Forex market and just overall. And then, of course, this guy, University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment. That number has just recently come in onto our radar. Somebody brought it up in the other show, and definitely a very timely find to bring up for us. So let's bring that guy up real quick. Made a chart off of what we talked about in the show and just added a few things to it. We brought this up over here on Polarized, and Polarized, an aptly named show for the crowd being polarized, unable to play the bull pump that we see right now because of this heavy bias that Biden is a fucking harbinger of fucking doom. But when we really look at this thing and really like mark it out a little bit better than we did in the show, right? Look at really fucking where Reagan comes into play, where Jimmy Carter's going out, gold is going to fucking 800, prices are going absolutely crazy. They're enacting a windfall tax against oil companies because their fucking oil work is making $100,000 with a high school diploma in the 1970s, right? There's just an absolute fucking energy crisis to the ceiling, and the consumer is a fucking, at death's door of despair. The only other time you saw something like this in the entire history of the consumer sentiment is fucking in the banking crisis. Not even going to Desert Storm, right? You never even got there, but this is the low of Desert Storm, right? A little bit lower than fucking COVID, a global pandemic. These are your consumer sentiments at a time that you would think they should look like fucking this, a fucking pandemic or a war for the first time the U.S. was involved in after so many years. But not at all, right? Banking crisis and what's important to them is what really freaks people out. And so consumer is obsessed with what they consume, the prices of goods and things that they touch. This is the worst consumer sentiment ever. Really? That's COVID, motherfucker. Are you serious? The fuck were you thinking up here? Biden? This is a crisis of confidence? Biden? What the fuck? Because the average consumer doesn't give a fuck about Russia, nor do they give a fuck about food prices yet. They care what they're paying, but they don't really have the focus that the food crisis is tied to something a lot more grave coming down the line, right? What exactly is worse today than the banking crisis, guys? This, if you live through this, this is the financial apocalypse of the fucking century when this happens. What a point you are in history, right? And so I put on here a commodity like gold and the stock market, and you can see these massive commodity spikes that are the precursors to the inflation that people are dealing with and fearing, and you see it, right? The crowd panicking, gold in a fucking boom from 2000 into this, rising prices of everything, and then the collapse in the one asset everyone was making money on, equals panic, and the commodity cycle kept on going with no growth, and they fucking kept panicking. From these points come the single biggest booms of our time, right? This entire setup in 1980 is the entire arc of Ronald Reagan through Billy Clinton. And we have that structural formation exactly right now, right? It doesn't look like fucking the internet bubble. They weren't passing legislators to fucking add funding to energy or anything like that. You were just deflating. And I think that's the big mistake people make. Biden is fucking winning something right now that's really huge for the evolution of the United States economy if they get it through. So you're at a crazy point for the entire crowd itself, who are likely our future buyers if this isn't the end of the world. This is who's going to buy the rest of this motherfucking arc from the depths of despair they're in right here. So I thought this was a pretty interesting point. And look at the pullback we have in the stock market, right? It's nothing like the pullbacks that are happening here. These are absolute fucking apocalyptic crashes. Where are we right now? Really and truly, nothing like what people really feel it's like. But the media's done a great job of making you think it's the end of the world under Biden. And they did this under Obama too. Remember that as well, right? The conservative media is a lot more effective in selling the message than the liberal media to the masses. So anyway, this is a perspective thing I thought we'd do, and then I kept the chart. This is the chart we did it on over here. So we'll just keep this guy isolated so we can pull him up and kind of, this is a long-term macro. So we're going to keep this guy in the background right now, and we're going to keep tracking consumer sentiment, because ultimately that's our best gauge on the dumb money. If you ever wanted it, looking at this graph, you damn sure don't want to be where the fucking crowd is. And everyone trying to sell fucking doom so they can get their fucking little participation ribbon and say, look, I called it. They're going to be the fucking clowns of this cycle, just like they are in every cycle. So food for thought things, right? Isn't that pretty crazy chart? So I thought it was a pretty cool ass chart. Doom influencers, right? They're just, doom influencer equals idiot. Just fucking moron, right? If you didn't call it doom before we're down in the grave, fuck you. That's why we had a show called Graveyard. Makes a lot more sense now, right? What's in the graveyard? Those consumers. So, all right. I know I was reading that because of, checking out these things. So we got our inflation stuff, or numbers, whatever. Earnings this week. Anybody we give a fuck about? Market moving motherfuckers. Let's see. This probably plays you can make Blink. Since you have an energy deal, Blink will probably fucking be a lot more volatile. Coinbase is out this week with what they're doing with BlackRock. Probably want to see what the fuck they say. Since everyone thought they were going to explode fucking weeks ago, and now they've got like a deal. Beyond that, nothing here you give a flying shit about, to be honest with you. Nobody here is particularly market moving. So, enough of that. And then Cloud of Shit. Sounds like a great name for a fucking scorecard. Sat on my hands for the most part over the last fortnight as we entered the cloud of shit across risk assets. Got stopped out in XRP short before risking off. -1 on him. As we continue to meander in the zone across risk assets, closed out a 5-hour short on LTC. Good shit. Preserve capital, hedge downside risk, and even netted 4 hours in what has been a chop shop over the last fortnight in most risk on assets. Indeed it has. It was a tough fight. Some yellow fever, we gave you warning that the market probably would turn to shit for a bit because people showed up and wanted to play. And that's a good time to chop them to pieces before you get going again. So, if you're able to hedge and actually make some money in that, awesome. What is going on the bottom of this chart? Rupert. What the fuck? Oh, this is, I'm like, what in the hell am I seeing? It's an NFT chat. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? I thought it was people in your room. I've been trading this NFT collection in and out since mint day, so I knew what price to rarity rank NFT roughly sold for. I got an alert for that rank. Top 2.7% was listed at floor price I quickly had a look at the transaction on OpenSea, see if I could be a listing from a hacked wallet the seller had once owned since minted, and it had not been transferred between wallets since then, so it was most likely a legit listing. Thanks for that description of how to verify a legit listing for anybody else who's wondering, before you go walking in and buying a flagged asset or something, or something that's going to get flagged. This is some good due diligence, but at the end of the day, we're in OpenSea is flagging shit that isn't even coming from the owners now. People are getting whole accounts flagged, and they're not even the ones reporting it, so people can nefariously just fucking attack your account. OpenSea just has problems, but this is still a good word of caution for people on how to do a little research. Other buyers fell asleep because the collection had pumped earlier and then dumped. I was prepared, kept doing my day-to-day activities like a business, and that led me to make a trade quicker than the others. In the end, I bought the NFT for 0.09 ETH and sold for 0.79, 3x from floor after 8 days. Good stuff, man. Very nice trade. So I'm guessing it's in here. This thing doesn't have candlesticks, so it's kind of shitty. So I know what you mean. But good stuff. I'm proud of you, man. Way to use the same logic on something as thin as these NFTs, right? So good shit. That is our last one. Always appreciate getting some scorecards from you guys. Always lose a few viewers when we do scorecards. Always interesting. Pars, the fucking legend. It really does sound like, quote, the MSM manufactured crisis, because everyone from AM, PM radios to people, social media pages are just talking about inflation, recession, no research behind it, but just parroting the same thing they see and hear, just implanting an idea to dumb money crowd to be on the wrong side. It's not that they're implanting it, they don't know any better. You got to think of when the market's super bullish and people are calling 100,000, 200,000 BTC, by the time you start to hear that, everyone's on the same side of that. And so you just look at it now on the economic side, right? Everyone's saying the word recession. If they were saying recession in fucking January, February, March, it'd be prophetic. But when you have things like PayPal and Shopify down 80 and 90 fucking percent, motherfucker, where have you been? So no one has, they always arrive that kind of late, and they begin to chant it, and they almost righteously, I need you to know that I'm telling you it's going to be a recession. You have to hear what I'm saying. Just like the motherfuckers have you heard about Bitcoin? Right? So they're fucking completely tilted now the opposite way. And the fucking fact that you see so many people with fucking ETH-based PFPs sitting on their fucking ass talking about leg down number fucking 4, or whatever the fuck number they're on, while their PFP is in ETH going up 100%, how fucking distracted are you? You're not even fucking happy for the fact that shit I know for fucking sure you own is going up. That's fucking, either you're so far in the water it doesn't even matter, or you're completely blinded by the fucking crowd noise, So, anyways, 9:05, macro things. So, let's get our charts together. See where shit is. Alright, this is our guy that we have, or a little zone here, phantom zone, chop shop. And he chopped pretty good. So this is a zone range. He actually hit down on the low on Friday and held the low of the phantom zone, and is now up to the top range of this flag, still super high and tight. See if we get to the high side of the phantom zone today and what it does. Like I said, they got that bill pass. If the market keeps any momentum off of it, we want to play dick rules on the gap up here and see if he holds open, and if we push towards this level and what he does at that level. This is not the chart we usually use. We usually use the gap chart. It's a little cleaner. So this is our projection, right? He could go down. This is the same range, phantom zone, not marked out exactly, just the entire shockwave. Could correct and then rotate right back up, which is what we thought was possible, and it's exactly what we did, right? Off the opening, gap down, hasn't gone all the way down, but is rotating right back up. So now we pay attention. This will exactly just fuck people out of this whole play. People are still waiting for a discount. Recession. Trust me, it's going to come down, and they're just waiting and watching it just leave them in the dust. And it is a vicious. It could easily be a dead cat bounce again. But one of the things about the sentiments and dead cat bounces, motherfuckers don't know a dead cat's a dead cat when it's happening. And that's the thing you have to watch here. Everybody and their mom's a genius about this being a dead cat. So we pay attention to that. Now our big line in the sand is Ragnarok. This is our big swing level to break out, make the new all-time highs, and then rotate and test hardcore off this and put in the dumb blows here of this particular part of the bear cycle, which we think is, depression after the anger phase with Kathy that we showed of in April, May. This is likely depression phase, and this bounce is coming out of depression phase. So this is our big line in the sand because we got this good retest to send us to those lows. So we care how we go through this. This is a big level. Qs already through the corresponding level, and then crypto, we're using ETH as a proxy. Cool. So there's ETH, not that chart. Where is it? ETH. ETH. There you go. Fucking last show we did with you guys. Change. Right. That's not it. One sec. All right. So last show I did with you guys, right? You could hold this trajectory with the sentiment being as crazy, and we'll see if his bull flag could hold on top of the last system. It pierced into a little bit, but fairly decent. And then there's perfect rotation right on your flag, came out, retest, and then we're at new highs. So 1800, and still pushing into his cloud of shit, right? His effective same zone as, damn it, I hate how different the scales are. Just remember, 24-hour versus like a minute chart, 10-minute chart, but the same cloud of shit. Just look at the timing, May 31st through June 7th. I'm just not going to change again, but that's this. Right, May 31st over here through June 7th. So this is the same volume cloud of shit that's everywhere. Every risk asset had the same congestion. So we're in that with the S&P pushing to the high range of his, and you're watching effectively the same shit. It's S&P to ETH means fucking fuck all, right? It's literally the same shit. BTC set up right now. He's a laggard, and you remember when we talked about this? If you have BNB being strong, like we put in OnlyFans, or you have ETH BTC you're watching, right? When there's risk-seeking behavior, generally people are going to spend BTC to get to something that BTC was the gateway for. That's why we want to kind of gauge, if BNB BTC was strong or not, because it's telling you that there's risk-seeking behavior to get BTC to go grab something else. And BNB, we know you're going into that exchange to get shitcoins. So it's your big hint there's some money flowing into the marketplace. If that's true, then BTC himself is not your leading asset in a risk-seeking environment for crypto. We come back to this and we look at BTC. He is the underperformer coming off the lows, right? Almost anything else has been more interesting. LTC, some of these guys a little bit stronger. As long as the ratio is bouncing, Atom's had more strength, right? We talked about Atom before. Atom rising equals Atom USD being a stronger guy to track. This is the last time we looked at Atom, and this is what we're looking to see him flip if he's going to turn his major down cycle upwards again. BNB, of course, is going to be put BNB BTC on there. Not this chart, BNB BTC. This was put in OnlyFans for you guys back here. So if you played this has been the surge in risk-on behavior. This is what tells us that ETH and some of these guys have a chance to keep on rising, because clearly someone's seeking risk and the bulk of the market calling bear. That's exactly the formula you want to fucking see. So BNB USD obviously would probably look pretty good. And all these guys are pumping like that right now in the trenches, right? So if you guys have been paying attention, when their mom calling fucking 500 ETH, 3-digit ETH again, is literally the fucking fuel for the fire for this shit. Of course, we're paying attention to this high. This is the same high that we have, like we're dealing with everybody in their respective areas. So if you guys have been on the right side of this train, congratulations. Hopefully the chop of the last week is enough to fucking take out any late bulls. And now we can get to proceed, which it looks like it's doing. So now we pay attention for clean structures. If it's going to advance, at least held still for long enough to do something, right? We didn't want it to keep on going a straight fucking line anyway. So this angle, worth paying attention as a trend line goes. This guy, let me put him more firmly against where he's at. That's a new high. So you connect your low to the lowest low you can get before new highs without passing through prices, and this is your trend line. So this guy, you watch him. See if he fades this. If he fades this, you get a chance for a larger corrective structure, and then still continuation into another res. But for right now, this is the trajectory we're holding, and we're holding it all over the place. Solar things, we put in OnlyFans for you guys also. We talked about some solar guys last week on the show. Sedge and some of these guys, they're going up with the pre-market just a little bit. You want to see if this energy package really fucking helps to trigger some of these guys out. Some of these guys have been like in the dumps, and this is some of the bull flag action you see in the ratio of TAN XOP. You can see it here in just the assets themselves. So, keep our eyes on this. It's maybe Clean Energy's time to do a version of what Dirty did for the last couple years. So that being said, it's crypto things. I don't know what I just touched there. I don't know what just happened there. Let's do this. Oh, I just closed my chart. Fuck. Why did you do that, you retarded thing? Sorry. Alright. That was my bad. Alright, need to get to VIX. VIX guy is here, so let's look at VIX again, right? We're keeping track of him to keep track of our pump. And VIX has hit 21 on Friday, bounced it, just ever slightly pierced it, opened a little bit off of it. But so far, Stevie D's monolith kill level has been money, right? Once you got under it, he's been it. He was a death blow to the market. And now that we're under it, key emotion level for the VIX, wicked it here, sustained it here. As long as it's under here, we can keep pushing, right? Keep an eye on this. Just 22.69 to 21 is now the range that we care about. We get back above this, all eyes on fucking possible rotation of bull flag on fear. DXY should kind of give us a confirming signal. So he's struggling, attempting to rotate a bull flag, right? And if it's going to be the fact that the VIX is going lower, then this is actually fucking another wave here. And this guy can go down here and we can get a bigger bull flag in the dollar, right? That's possible. So I'll leave that on there. So possibilities of this, right? We rotated and we have tagged the range for what we thought the bull flag should do. If it's going to go a little deeper, maybe 2B, that's possible if we're going to pump a little higher. Otherwise, we rotate above this yellow range. You keep eyes on that. That's the range that we can actually rotate this flag, and we're de-risking. By the time we get up here, we'll be de-risking. VIX, USDT. So we check on that guy. US dollar inside crypto land down to 6 finally. There's our bear flag we told you to watch on this to gauge crypto. So if USDT was going to rotate down again, it's going to actually allow gas on fucking crypto USD. That's the ETH pump you see right now. That's the last bear flag. I should say watch this trigger. And it was the same. USDC.D. We had the same thing, right? This is bullish to crypto. That's why we made him green down. If this guy dumps here, crypto pumps, right? So that was our swing level. You could stick on BTC or whatever the fuck you want on there. BSC, and put him on. Right, and right there, crypto pump city, right? Money, money. So it all makes sense, right? Put the picture together. Markets aren't that complex. Just most people telling you shit that they're fucking stupid. Now you know for sure. All your influencers who've never told you this before, if he starts coming at them, tell them to suck a dick. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just an idiot with bigger idiots following you. That's it. No one tells you markets like this because no one fucking knows. Markets are math, you know. It is an art form to put it all together, but it makes a stunning kind of sense. So that's USDC, that's VIX, that's DXY, that's BTC, ETH, SPYs. And so we look around, what kind of things look good out there, you know? If people are all sleeping at the switch, this is a guy I thought looked interesting, right? If we're actually at the turn of the corrective structure and everyone's fucking sleeping waiting for Armageddon again, then some of these guys look stunningly good out there, don't they? You know, this guy retested his old system prior to COVID, held strong. You know, you've seen some big guys out there, Macy's, these big retailers, huge corrections, back down to key levels, holding strong. Sorry, let's look at Macy's over here. Definitely some stuff that if you zoom back out and you don't stay zoomed in, this doesn't look like Armageddon. Definitely the possibilities of market rotations higher with people being left the fuck out. So that's our macro. Hope you guys put all that together. We've been on ice for a little bit here and the market is getting ready for a breath of life. It definitely did a chop. I saw a lot of people say they got chopped in the last week. So I think we keep eyes on this. If the flag rotates and eats any indication, it might be time to try the high side resistance and see if it can keep push on again. So that's where we are. Sentiment, like I said, is in the right place. As long as they keep crying recession, this shit can keep going higher. All right, 9:16. Try not to get you off of the fucking bell, but god damn it. Nvidia quarter revenue of 6.7 billion versus outlook of 8 billion. So if that was earnings this morning. You guys get all that? That was a lot, right? I'm almost done. Plug. I'll get a couple things on here I can, and I got a bolt. So plug, Moo, Amazon, ETH. All right, do what I can. Plug, green energy deal, right? Worth paying attention to all the energy guys that we used to have on the radar. Let's check plug. I got plug on a couple of charts. He's OG. That's plug from when he collapsed. Plug over here. So plug right now, having pulled back all of this. Yep, got it. All right, so we could look at plug just to make it simple. Plug is in the same really humongous clean energy bull flag I just showed you with tan. They all kind of gonna look like this, right? So this is the rotation that a whole clean energy is attempting to do. So it is worth paying attention to this stuff as they all begin to rotate pretty much structurally the exact same shit. Even fucking shit like Workhorse, which is like in the grave, is bouncing on this. So yeah, clean energy across the board is definitely doing shit worth paying attention to, right? So all of them have it. All of them have, this is like the new redraw of their bull flags. So the whole space you could look at right now looks the same. Just massive bull flags. They're rotating right now. Moo, which is agriculture guy. So we had this last time we talked about Moo, I guess. We had a bear flag in Moo, which rotated down. And so now Moo cleared this entire range out. And so that's really the line in the sand. Does he get back on top of this range or not? This is like his own cloud of shit. He would need to rotate that, but he's still safer above this whole thing, sustaining a breakout above it, than trying to play him going through it. Probably a little bit more risky to do that. So that's where I think he's a good idea. If he rolls back out of here, he can go lower. Plug move BTC.D, somebody said Bitcoin dominance. So this is Bitcoin dominance chart. This is what we just talked about: BNB, BTC, ETH, BTC. If there's risk-seeking behavior, BNB, BTC is generally not the strength. He will be the strength generally, like the dollar is for like risk assets. Capital in crypto flows back to the point of entry, which is BTC. So BTC loses strength in risk-seeking behavior, gains strength in risk off in crypto. So right now this is good for us. This means that shitcoins like ETH can move. Other, not as a shitcoin, but other crypto assets can move. So as we fade down to the lows, we do want to pay attention to this because this is significant support. If he bounces, that's not good for us in fucking like crypto broadly. All right. I didn't have a screen. Did you guys not see that right now? Did I not have BTC.D on there? I did? Okay. My bad. That's lovely. No loading. Cannot load my layout. All right. So right now I tried to load an NFT chart. It will not load. Let's see. I know I saw somebody ask for Clonex and Bored Ape. Right now, shit, I have shitty charts here, but let me see what I can do with it. I can't get the Parsec one to open. It's always got fucking bugs. Ultimate low, kind of went through the low here. You're kind of watching this entire setup. Like he's got 2B the low back half here in June. You have to look at like the ultimate low. I don't think he actually made it through it, but you're watching kind of a range right now. All right, this is his breakout from earlier in the year. And that's what he's landed on over here, right? He based out on top of this range over here. And then he's kind of range bound on the high side, like around 11-ish or so, 11 and a half. So you want to see him basically rotate this entire range and maintain the range he's created on top of the previous shockwave that blew him out to these highs, right? This is the core volume that really launched Clonex. So all of this is like really thin and drifting down to where it came from. The fact that it's supported, that's a good thing in these prices while ETH continues to rise. So we want to see this guy rotate and go back to like, I can't pinpoint, but I think it's like 11 and a quarter, 11 and a half over here, whatever this low floor is. He gets above that, you can, damn it. Let's do that. So sorry about the chart situation. It's very difficult. We're at 923. So the filter dipped on you guys. I see that. Damn, what the fuck? Wrecked. Fucking wrecked. Well, that's a motherfucker, isn't it? Son of a bitch. I don't even remember what that one was called. Oh crap. The hell was that one called? It's all good, bitches. We're just gonna have to switch it up. I'll switch the style up live on you. I have my glowy effect. I got bang. What you know about me, motherfucker? We'll just switch the style up. Watch the money pile up. All right, today was difficult on set, no fucking lies. So hope you guys are prepped. It's 924. I can't cover any more. I did the Clonex one. I got at least one of those in there. As far as like AVAX, Matic and stuff, right? You're looking at the general correlation that's going on in ETH and all the rest of them. So your structures are all quite correlated. If you understood what I said about ETH, you understand that the same thing is likely going on with Matic, USDT. He's really correlated with it. He's lagging the move though, as ETH is leading this. So you kind of want to watch maybe Matic's ratios and see when he's going to actually get strength. So he's a little bit behind it. As far as Clonex, I haven't checked Bored Ape recently, but I would imagine the correlation of your blue chips is something of the same kind also. So try and proxy those if you can. Mana has been leading. Been watching that. Mana's had strength, and you know, I think that's bullish for virtual real estate to see them, because Decentraland's really done nothing that we give a shit about in the last fucking half year. But there's strength there. Strength ahead of Matic, which I thought was interesting. And like I said, I think that's really just to the fact that there's risk-seeking behavior inside crypto space that no one really fucking saw. So that's what you're seeing. Beyond that, it's time for markets, kids. 9:25. Y'all have a good session out there. We'll catch you guys on the flip. All right, peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly.
That was tough. You come over here. You come on set, girl. Here's an outlook. I don't know if it shows both of us. That's what's up. Whew, that was tough.
3,000. Winternomics. Welcome